Let's talk about some of the main UK state benefits. Armed Forces Independence Payment. This benefit is for members of the armed forces who've been seriously injured as a result of military service since 2005. It's non-taxable and is not counted as income for tax credits, but if you meet certain other conditions, it may help you qualify for disability or severe disability elements of working tax credits. It is not counted as income for universal credits. Attendance Allowance. Attendance Allowance is a non-means tested benefit for people aged 65 or over paid by the Department for Work and Pensions, the DWP. It's paid to those who need help with personal care. Attendance allowance is non-taxable and is not counted as income for tax credits, but if you receive attendance allowance and meet certain other conditions, it may help you qualify for disability or severe disability elements of working tax credits. It is not counted as income for universal credits. Bereavement Allowance. Bereavement Allowance is paid to people aged 45 or over but under state pension age without children whose spouse or civil partner died before the 6th of April 2017. It's payable for up to 52 weeks. It may be payable to people whose spouse or civil partner or cohabiting partner died on or after the 6th of April 2017. Bereavement allowance is taxable and it counts in full as social security income for tax credit purposes. It counts as unearned income for universal credits. Bereavement support payment. From the 6th of April 2017, bereavement support payment replaced bereavement allowance, bereavement payment, and widowed parents allowance. Bereavement support payment is made up by a lump sum payment followed by up to 18 monthly payments. Following a change in the law, bereavement support payment is also available to bereaved cohabiting partners. It consists of a tax-free lump sum of £2,500 for those without children or £3,500 for those with children, followed by a monthly tax-free payment of £100 if you do not have children and £350 if you do. The monthly payments continue for 18 months regardless of your age or if you find a new partner and it's not linked to inflation. The bereavement support payment is non-taxable and it's ignored as income for tax credit purposes. The initial lump sum is disregarded as capital for universal credit for the first 12 months and the ongoing allowance is disregarded as income. Carers Allowance. Carers Allowance is paid to people who provide care for at least 35 hours per week. The person who is cared for must receive benefits from a prescribed list. Carers Allowance is taxable and it's counted in full as social security income for tax credit purposes. It's treated as unearned income for universal credit. If you receive carers allowance, you may be entitled to an additional carers element of universal credit and have your capability for work assessment adjusted. Entitlement to the carers element of universal credit is not exclusively dependent on receiving carers allowance. Child benefit. Child benefit is a non-means tested benefit paid to people who have responsibility for a child or children or a qualifying young person. It's paid by HMRC, although it's not means tested. From the 7th of January 2013, if you or your partner have adjusted net income of £50,000 or more, you'll be subject to a tax charge unless you opt not to receive payments for child benefits. Child benefit is non-taxable, but you may have to pay the tax charge if your income is above the £50,000. Check out my video on child benefit for more information. It's not counted as income for tax credit purposes or for universal credits. Child tax credits. CTC. Child tax credit is a means-tested benefit payable to families who are responsible for a child or children or qualifying young person. It's paid by HMRC. CTC replaced support for children in the benefit system and is itself being replaced by universal credits. You can get CTC whether or not you work. CTC is non-taxable. Universal credit replaces CTC and you can generally not claim both at the same time. Cold weather payment. Cold weather payments are made to people on qualifying benefits when temperatures fall below a certain point. It's non-taxable and does not count as income for tax credit purposes or for universal credits. Cost of living payments. The government announced a series of extra payments through 2022 to 24 to help with the cost of living for people entitled to certain benefits or tax credits. These are non-taxable and are not included as income for tax credits or for universal credits. Disability Living Allowance. Disability Living Allowance, or DLA, was a benefit for those under state who had mobility problems or needed personal care. DLA is only available if you're under 16 in England and Wales. To see what has replaced DLA, go to gov.uk. If you're 16 or over and already get DLA, you can find out if you'll continue to receive it on the gov.uk website. It's non-taxable and is not counted as income for tax credits. However, if you get DLA, you might be entitled to more tax credits through the disability element of working tax credit and the child disability elements of child tax credit. DLA does not count as income for universal credits. Employment and Support Allowance. New Style Employment and Support Allowance replaces contributions-based ESA and works in the same way. It's a benefit for people who are found to have limited capability for work because of illness or disability and who've been an employee or self-employed and paid national insurance contributions, or in some cases have national insurance credits, usually in the last 2 to 3 years. Your or your partner's income and savings will not affect how much New Style ESA you're paid. This benefit is taxable and it is counted as social security income for tax credits. It's also counted in full as unearned income for universal credits. Employment and Support Allowance income-related. Income-related employment and support allowance is a benefit for people who are found to have limited capability for work because of illness or disability. It's paid to people who have not paid enough contributions to claim contributions-based employment and support allowance. It replaced income support on grounds of disability from October 2008. It itself has been replaced by universal credit in most cases. Income-related employment and support allowance is non-taxable and is not counted as income for tax credits. If you're in receipt of income-related employment support allowance, you will automatically be paid maximum working tax credit and child tax credit, but this does not apply if you get contribution-based employment support allowance or new style employment and support allowance, unless you're also getting some income-related employment support allowance. Income-related employment and support allowance is being replaced by universal credit, and you cannot receive it at the same time as universal credit. Guardian's allowance. This is a benefit paid by HMRC to people who are looking after a child or children whose parents have died or has one surviving parent who is unable to look after the child. It's non-taxable and is not counted as income for tax credits or for universal credits. Healthy Start. People who receive certain benefits can get vouchers for milk, fruit and vegetables from the Healthy Start scheme. Healthy Start is a non-taxable benefit and does not count as income for tax credit purposes or for universal credit. Income support. Income support is paid to people who are not required to work, such as those with very young children and carers. Income support will gradually be replaced by universal credit. Income support is non-taxable unless you're involved in a trade dispute, and it's not counted as income for tax credits unless you're involved in a trade dispute, in which case it is counted as income. If you receive income support, non-taxable, you will automatically be entitled to maximum tax credits. Income support is gradually being replaced by universal credit, and it's generally not possible to claim universal credit and income support at the same time. Job Seekers Allowance. New Style Job Seekers Allowance, JSA, is paid to people who are seeking work and who have met the national insurance contribution requirements. It is a taxable benefit and is counted as income for tax credit purposes. It is also counted in full as unearned income for universal credits. Maternity Allowance. Maternity allowance is paid to people who are pregnant or who have recently had a baby and who do not qualify for statutory maternity pay, for example, if they're self-employed. It's non-taxable and is not taken into account as income when calculating tax credits. It's counted in full as unearned income for universal credits. Pension credit. Pension credit is a benefit for those who meet certain age requirements and who are on a low income. It can include elements for children and young people up to age 20 who normally live with a claimant and who the claimant is responsible for. It's made up of a guarantee credit, which guarantees a minimum amount to live on, and savings credit, which rewards those with modest savings. Pension credit is non-taxable. It is not counted as income for tax credits. If you receive pension credit, you may be entitled to the maximum amount of working tax credit and child tax credit. Pension credit is not treated as income for universal credits. Personal Independence Payment, PIP. Personal Independence Payment, also called PIP, replaced Disability Living Allowance, DLA, for working age claimants from the 8th of April 2013. Most existing claimants of DLA are gradually moving across to PIP. There are two components: the daily living component, standard and enhanced rates, and the mobility component, also standard and enhanced rates. PIP helps with the extra cost of disability caused by long-term ill health or disability. PIP is non-taxable and is not counted as income for tax credits. However, if you get PIP, you might be entitled to more tax credits through the disabled element of working tax credits and the child disability elements of child tax credits. PIP is not treated as income for universal credit. If you receive PIP, it may be a factor in considering your capability for work under universal credit rules, and you may be entitled to additional elements of universal credits. State Retirement Pension. The state pension is paid to people who reach pension age. It's based on national insurance contributions. It's taxable and counts as income for tax credits. The first £300 of pension, property, investment, foreign and notional income is disregarded. All categories of state pension count in full as unearned income for universal credit. In addition, any deferred state pension entitlement is counted in full as notional income. Statutory Adoption Pay. Statutory Adoption Pay is paid to employees who adopt a child and who take time off. It can be paid for up to 39 weeks. It's a taxable benefit. The first £100 of weekly statutory adoption pay is disregarded. Anything above this amount counts as income for tax credit purposes. Statutory adoption pay counts in full and is treated as earned income for universal credit. Statutory maternity pay. Statutory maternity pay is paid to employees who take time off before and after they have a baby. It's paid for a maximum of 39 weeks and is a taxable benefit. The first £100 of weekly statutory maternity pay is disregarded, and anything above this amount is taken into account as income for tax credits. Statutory maternity pay counts in full and is treated as earned income for universal credits. Statutory parental bereavement pay. In England, Scotland and Wales, statutory parental bereavement pay is paid to employees for up to 2 weeks where they take time off work due to a child bereavement, aged under 18, or stillbirth after 24 weeks of pregnancy. Statutory parental bereavement leave and pay was introduced on the 6th of April 2020. It is a taxable benefit. The first £100 of weekly statutory parental bereavement pay is disregarded, but anything above this amount is taken into account as income for tax credit purposes. It counts in full and is treated as earned income for universal credits. Statutory Paternity Pay. Statutory Paternity Pay is paid to employees whose partners have given birth or adopted a child. It's paid for 2 weeks and is a taxable benefit. The first £100 of weekly statutory paternity pay is disregarded as income for tax credits. Any amount above this limit counts as income. It counts in full and is treated as earned income for universal credit. Statutory Shared Parental Pay. SHPP. SHPP was introduced for babies born or adopted after the 5th of April 2015. SHPP is linked to shared parental leave, which allows parents to share leave in the first year. If you're eligible for shared parental leave and you or your partner end maternity or adoption leave and pay or maternity allowance early, then you may be able to take the rest of the 39 weeks of pay or maternity allowance up to 37 weeks as SHPP. Shared parental pay is taxable. The first £100 of weekly SHPP payments is disregarded as income for tax credits. Any amount above this limit counts as income. It counts in full and is treated as earned income for universal credit. Statutory Sick Pay. Statutory Sick Pay, or SSP, is paid to employees for the first 28 weeks of sick leave. It's taxable and counts as income for tax credit purposes. SSP counts in full and is treated as earned income for universal credit. Universal credit. Universal credit was introduced gradually from April 2013. It replaces 6 other benefits: income support, income-based job seekers allowance, housing benefit, child tax credit, working tax credit, and income-related employment and support allowance. Universal credit is non-taxable and will replace tax credits. War Disablement Pension. This is a pension paid to people injured as a result of service in the armed forces. It is a non-taxable benefit. It is not treated as income for tax credits or for universal credit. War Widows or Widowers Pension. War Widows or Widowers Pension is paid to those whose husband, wife or civil partner died as a result of their service in the armed forces. It's a non-taxable benefit. War Widows Pension is not counted as income for tax credits or for universal credit. Winter fuel payments. The winter fuel payment is a tax-free amount paid yearly to people who have reached the qualifying age by a certain date. The payments depend on your circumstances, but are generally between £100 and £300. It's generally paid automatically if you're in receipt of state pension or certain other benefits. If you've not received your payment by January, or if you're not in receipt of any benefits, then you should contact the Winter Fuel Helpline on 03459 151515. Winter fuel payments are non-taxable and are not counted as income for tax credit purposes or for universal credit. Working tax credits. WTC. Working tax credits is paid by HMRC to people who work and receive a low wage. You do not have to be responsible for a child to get working tax credits. It's non-taxable and does not count as income for child tax credit. Universal credit is gradually replacing working tax credit. It's generally not possible to claim universal credit and working tax credits at the same time.